Alright, today we're going to be on my 2017 Kawasaki Ninja 300. This is the ABS model, and I'm going to be going over some top 5 reasons why you should start with a 300 as your first bike. So let's get into it. Alright, so the first reason is really cost. If you're just getting into it, you look at bikes, they're expensive. I got this one for $3,000. It's a 2017. You can get ones that aren't really as new for even less, so you're not going to be spending more than $3,000. Go used for sure, because there's no reason to spend $5,000 on a brand new one of these. This one's what, 3 years old? I guess 4 now. They did replace it with the Ninja 400, but that just lowers the cost if anything. And then also a really great thing with buying a bike like this, you might not have it for, you know, a year or two. A lot of people change these out really quickly, but you can get all your value out of it. So I'm selling this one actually today apparently, and I'm getting actually $100 more than I bought it for. So, you know, yeah, you have some taxes and fees and things like that, but all in all, you're not going to be out of pocket much, especially once you sell this thing. And you know, it's very important to get gear and everything if you're just starting out. At least, you know, gloves, helmet, and a jacket to start. But hello, officer. I don't know what the speed limit is. So that's why, you know, low cost is really good, and then it holds the value really well. I'll kick it into fourth. The next one is power. So the next reason, you know, a lot of people think, oh, I don't want a 300 because it's not going to be fast enough and all that stuff. And there are so many cops out. But it definitely is, you know, as fast as you need when you're starting out. You're not going to be breaking any speed records or anything like that. But there's nothing wrong with a 300. What's up? You know, you're going to be able to get on the highway, merge on the highway, ride at highway speeds. Not an issue. Now if you're on a 125, it might be an issue on a bike that small going on the highway speeds. I wouldn't really trust it, but there's nothing wrong with that. And then also another reason why a 300 is really the right amount of power for when you're starting out is it's not too much power. When you're doing slow speed techniques and everything like that, you're not going to actually grab the throttle and, you know, shoot yourself off into a corner. You really have to kind of work for the power, and that's honestly a good thing if you've never been on a bike before. Then the third reason for buying a 300 as your first bike would be learning techniques. It's very important that you can handle a bike well before you move up to another bike. And how you can do that is by getting a lighter bike. That's kind of my next point, but 300, you can learn all the techniques really easily. The riding position is pretty neutral on this Ninja 300. I think most 300s are pretty neutral, except maybe KTM 390 is a little bit more aggressive, I guess. But, you know, it's kind of in between sport touring and sport, because you don't have traditional handlebars right here, but you don't really have like low clip-ons. And it's, if you buy a used bike, you know, it's probably already been dropped. This one had the right frame slider is all messed up because of that, and you know, it's not really an issue. I dropped this in a parking lot the first day I got it. I was trying to do tight U-turns. I tried to put my foot down, and I kind of like propped myself up off it, and then kind of stood it up too fast and then tipped it over the other way. So, you know, really embarrassing. Of course there were people walking by. I was in a parking lot, and of course there were people walking by. Just picked up a bike right back up. There wasn't really any damage or anything, but you don't have to feel too bad because it's already been down. Obviously you're not going to do it on purpose, but it's not really an issue. Now the fourth reason, and this one's really important, was really important for me, that's why I didn't even consider a bigger bike, was because it's so light. This is what, 379 pounds wet? That's fantastic. If you've never had a engine between your legs or anything like that, you'll probably want to go that route, because I don't know, my 650 I had was 460 pounds. That thing was pretty heavy, and as a new rider, you don't want to have to deal with that if you're trying to back it out of a parking space or anything. So it's just one less thing to worry about. And with a really light bike, it's not an issue to get it up in the back of a truck, get it on the back of a little ramp or anything. And you really get to learn about your bike without fear of dropping. I mean, it's harder to drop it because it is so small. What's up? Little C125. Alright. Let's throw it in a little corner here. That is the most the Midwest has as a corner. That's it. You got this, and you got 90-degree turns. That is all we got. Speed limit goes up to 45. Like, this thing didn't even downshift and it's in 60 like that. It's not slow. And I'd say also another thing, you don't necessarily need rider aids, but they're very helpful because, I don't know, if you've never been on a bike before, someone pulls out in front of you, you're just gonna, you know, slam on the brakes. That's what you're gonna do. You probably shouldn't, but that's what you're gonna do. If you have a bike like this, it's a little bit newer, it has ABS on it, so you don't really have to worry about that. It also has a slipper clutch, which makes downshifting easier. If you've never downshifted, you might have an issue with that at first. So it's nice to not be able to just immediately put too much power to the rear wheel, spin the rear tire out. I did that on my 650. I thought I was downshifting to second gear. I downshifted to first, you know, back tire slides out. Not the best time. This thing is super light and nimble. Never had an issue with turning. It's not going to give you any headaches. And maintenance is super easy on this because it is, again, a newer bike. You know, there's not going to be as many things wrong with it. And I mean, if you do have to do stuff, there's videos everywhere. You know, get a bike that other people have, learn from that, and it's super easy. I've changed all the fluids on this bike, never had issues not being able to do something, and I'm not very good at being a mechanic. I'd say I learned everything from YouTube, so you're not gonna have problems in that aspect, so you can go ahead and pull the trigger, honestly. I hear it all the time. People can start on bigger bikes, obviously. They can do whatever they want. People say, you know, because the R6 has such a late power band and everything, that, oh, it's really not an issue because you can just keep it below 5,000 RPMs. And that's true. Maybe even 7,000 on R6. That's true. But you don't want to have to worry about that while you're mid-turn, while you're looking at some gravel on the road, you're looking down, and you accidentally twist the throttle too much, and then, bam, you have a problem. You fall over. So that's why I would really recommend a 300, and you don't have to have it forever. I plan on having this thing for a year. I think I made it 6 months before I bought another bike, and it was a 650, Ninja 650, but I still have it. It's been, I don't know, 10 months now, just because it's been hard to kind of sell it, but this thing is great because it's so reliable. I've not ridden this for, I don't know, a month, and it's been outside, and you go flip the switch, turn it on, don't have an issue. It works every time, starts up. It's like a little puppy. It's fantastic. And it is only 3 years old, so what issues are you gonna have with it? And if you want this one specifically, I mean, the Ninja 400 just came out, and that's dropping the price of these significantly. I'm selling this basically at trade-in value, and you can pick one up. It only has, what, 6,400 miles on it? Nothing wrong with it. So I'd go ahead, buy one of these, have it for a few months, learn your techniques, get really comfortable on a bike, be comfortable in traffic, and if you can do that, then yeah, go ahead and move up to another bike. Because there's nothing wrong starting on a small one. Your friends might make fun of you or whatever. I mean, mine didn't, but because they started out the same way I did. It's just not a big deal. And if you go around caring what everyone else thinks about, I mean, you're gonna get yourself in trouble pretty fast. I'm just cruising right here. I mean, 6th gear, just getting good fuel economy. This thing, what, gets at least 50, maybe 60. And I don't even put it in 6 that often. I usually only put it on 6 in the highway, but I just want to keep it a little quieter while I talk. Man, there are so many people out exercising. And back to the riding position thing. This thing is, like I said, pretty upright. If you want to, you can move your butt back, lean down, kind of tuck in. You know, just see if you like that kind of sport bike feel. If you want something more like a standard bike, I mean, this is real good in between, so it kind of lets you know what you want your next bike to be. And not everyone moves from a 300 immediately to a bigger bike. I've always wanted a sport bike. I have a CBR 600 RR now. So you're slowing down, jeez. Turn left here. Like I was saying, I have a CBR now, and that's really what I want. It's I guess one of the more comfortable sport bikes. It's not super comfy, but this thing will not give you any issues. I've taken it on 4-hour trips on the highway in the rain. It's not, you know, enjoyable, but you're not gonna have any issues. This thing can do it. It's really a fantastic bike. It can do everything. Power kind of kicks in, say around 7,000. It comes in kind of late. This thing has a top speed of apparently 100 something. My buddy, this was his bike before I bought it from him. He said he got it up to about like 110 maybe. I've gotten this thing up to, I think, 98. I don't know. So you're not gonna be cruising past people on the highway, but if you need to, just drop a gear on the highway. You can pass people. I've never had issues where, oh, I'm in the left lane, I need to get over around someone, and I couldn't do it. Kind of sucks to sell because I was thinking about making one of these a track bike. I obviously just need the money right now, but this is also a great track bike because you can't go into corners, I wouldn't say too fast, but you can learn riding lines, techniques, how to hang off the bike a little bit. So it's a good choice for everyone, and that's honestly all my reasons why I really think you should start on a 300cc bike, and why you'd be happy doing it too. So if you, I don't know, disagree with me, agree with me, anything, let me know in the comments. If anyone actually sees this is kind of my first video where I'm talking, but I'd be happy to answer any questions, let you know what I've experienced in more detail. You know, have a good one. Peace.